Hello, everyone. This is Elizabeth with Scott Leroy Marketing, and welcome to Lead Generate with Command Print Marketing 101. Today is April 25th, so if you are viewing the recording, some features may have changed. Today, I am starting out in Mozilla Firefox, as we found this browser works best with the WeBrand Designs editor that we'll be using today. And I am currently at agent.kw.com, which is command. So we'll start out at agent.kw.com. You'll enter your username, which is generally something like first initial, last name, maybe a number, capitalization not required. Then you'll enter your password and click sign in. Now today we're going to be covering two different types of print marketing that you can immediately use in your business. Both can be paid options. The first, flyers, does not have to be a paid option if you want to print them at your own home. Of course, they kind of would take money if you were to buy the ink cartridges. If you were to print them at your office, they would cost the amount of prints that your office charges. And of course, you can always take it to a local store like Staples, or even print through command. The second type is postcards or direct mailers. And since those are sent through command the way I'm showing you today, those would also cost money. So first, let's head to our marketing profile to make sure everything is up to date. You'll click your name in the top right corner, then click settings. That'll take you to the connected applications page, where you'll then want to click on the header connect settings to drop down and find marketing profile. Here, you'll see several fields. Some are required, others are optional. And this is where most of the marketing will syndicate from. So you'll want to have your photo, team logo if applicable, name, slogan, the most recent addition to the fields that is required, bio, phone, email, brokerage information. Of course, if you're in a state that requires any legal footer links, you want those there. And once you have everything up to date and or added in, you can click save on the bottom to apply that immediately. Next, we'll head to designs, which is the paintbrush in a square icon in the left-hand menu. While you're still learning the name of the applets, you can click the red square with the white KW to expand the names. And again, we're headed to designs. Now, your screen may look different than mine depending on if you've already created any pieces within the system. Ultimate goal is to click Create Design. So whether you have that in the middle of your screen or in the top right, we'll click Create Design. Now, as I mentioned, today is all about print marketing, so we're going to choose the print option. Now, you can check this import photos and text from a listing if you wish. I will start with showing you brand assets, which does remove the listing that you add in if you check this box. So whether or not you check this box and follow along with me, I'll show you how to import photos and text from a listing at a later time as well. Then click continue. And this takes you to the templates within the WeBrand Design Editor. So if you checked that import photos and details from a listing, you can immediately choose your piece here. But for the 101 class, let's flip over to the Assets tab at the top. This is also where you can add in and see it syndicate all of your colors, fonts, images. So once you add in your image, your headshot, your picture to the marketing profile previously shown, it should syndicate here. Any text that you may frequently use. For example, I have my social media accounts, phone, email, site, name. That's a commonly used one. May not need bio though. But these should also syndicate from the marketing profile. Logos. We not only recommend the team logo if applicable, but also your market center logo and or any Keller Williams logos that you particularly are fond of. Elements are things like clip art, different social media icons as seen here as an example, stickers, different shapes, things of that nature that you want to frequently use on your pieces. Then you can also add in videos. For example, if you commonly use an intro video for yourself, although not super used on print pieces. And last but not least, files. So if you have any commonly used files that you'll need to add in, you can add those here. Now, typically the marketing profile does syndicate over to this assets tab, but you do also want to make sure that you have all of your information stored here so that you don't have to upload your headshot with every single piece. You can just choose it from the assets tab and save you some clicks. Now we're going to choose our piece. So we'll head back to the templates tab. Now there are several options, so choose one that works best for you and your situation in generating leads. For example, door knocking with flyers or door hangers. Now, if you are going to make a test piece with me, reviewing the recording later for a real piece or creating a different type of piece, all of the functionalities that I'm about to show you are the same, so you would just need to make them work for you. So you'll see you're defaulted to K-score. You can drop down the bold headers for listings. And today I'm just going to choose a for sale. Now, all of these functionalities do also apply to direct mail pieces, though I will be starting with a flyer. So I'm going to choose the flyer button at the top. Is everyone hearing me okay, or is the audio cutting in and out? Oh, good. Thank you for confirming. If the audio is cutting in and out, feel free to leave and come back, and I'll let you in immediately to try and refresh the connection. So now that we have our listings for sale pieces narrowed down to flyers, you'll see all of the different types of flyers that Command has to offer. So for today's piece, I'm going to choose this fourth option here. And now that I've made my selection, you'll simply click Use. Now again, the WeBrand Design Editor works best in Mozilla Firefox. So that's why I'm using this browser, because I'm in the WeBrand Design Editor. So if you have any problems with any of the functionalities we'll go over, you may need to switch to Mozilla Firefox. And I'm just going to get rid of this pop-up bubble showing the Pages menu. This is a single page flyer, so not applicable. And I'm going to zoom in using the plus sign at the bottom right so that you can better see all the clicks that I'm doing. Now, first things first, I do like to rename my design. That will be at the top center right. Now, I recommend developing some sort of naming convention. I like to leave the template name just so I know what template I used when selecting this piece. And then maybe adding in the property address. Maybe using FS for sale, FL for flyer. Another reason I like to use the template name in my naming convention. And then you can click anywhere outside that bubble to save that name. Now, starting at the top and working our way down, the first field to edit is the address. Now there's two ways to edit the address. You can either double click and manually type in, or you can click to select, come over to the KWLS panel on the left-hand side, and search for your listing here. Now, if you did check that box at the very beginning, your listing will already show up here. But if you did not, you can type in the address here and then press enter to search for that. And then as soon as you find your listing, you'll click select. And this is what brings up all of the photos and listing details for your listing. So heading to the listing details tab, scroll down just a hair to find the property address. And with the address on the flyer still selected, you can see it's selected by the blue outline. You'll click the replace, which is the two arrows forming a circle next to the property address here, to fill that in immediately. Now, if you do want to go in and edit even further, you may, just by simply double clicking, manually typing in. You can also resize a bit, as I do need to in this instance. You can also see all of the formatting options at the very top. Let's highlight this again. You can also choose the typewriter option to pull up another screen to a little easier way to edit the text. Then as soon as you have that done, we can move on to the next field, the picture. So I'm going to click to select. I'm going to make sure that picture is selected with the blue outline. Then come over to Photos and Replace. Now we do commonly see once this finishes loading that it pops up to the top left. So to correct this immediately, I just want to click Reposition at the top center. Click and drag that back to the center and click Done. Now I may also want to reposition that a little bit more so that I don't cut off the top of the roof. There we have it. And now we can continue on down the flyer. Now for this next field, which is common on most of the templates, you'll see that it has multiple pieces of information here: bed, bath, square foot, price, and year built. Because all of these fields are combined in one field, you don't necessarily want to replace with information from the KWLS panel. If you do that, it will only replace with the number that you plug in. So it won't keep the field names, the little dots to separate, anything. So we do recommend manually editing this field. And you can, again, do so by just double clicking and typing in the numbers that you see from the left-hand panel. And year built. So just a few keyboard strokes there. Again, you have some formatting options at the very top. Then we can continue on down. Next is the description. So I'm going to click to select, and description is at the very bottom. So I'm going to zoom out just a hair so you can see that in the left-hand panel. And with that selected, I'll click Replace. Now, typically I do see that the description is much longer and much bigger than the template, but that is okay. You can move this around using the white crosshair with arrows. You can expand with the dots and ovals on the sides. You can also, again, double click to select, retype anything in here. I'm going to press Control A to highlight all. And then again, you can see some formatting options on the top. You can change the font size, change the font type. You can also reduce line spacing. This does default to a very large line spacing, so I like to decrease, well, not that much, but a little bit, so that that fits better. Now, this example does still look a little long, so I'm just going to delete half of it so that it fits, since this is just an example. There we have it. And move on to the next piece, which is a picture. Now, in addition to the way we added in this first picture by clicking that replace, there are a couple of other options to add in pictures. Another way is to go ahead and delete the default here. And on the picture, click this add image, the plus sign. That will add it to the center of your page where you can then resize and move it on down to where you need. The other option is, let me find a good one here. Oh, there's the kitchen. Is to click and drag over the picture into the selected field and release. Now, sometimes you may see that become a white square and then somehow disappear. Again, you can go ahead and drag that in to resize. And then I'm going to kind of layer them here like so. Now, the fourth way to add in a picture is if you don't have any photos pulling in from KWLS, you can go to this Images tab, then add straight from your computer. So different ways to do the same thing. Now I'm going to zoom back in for the next field, headshot. So I'm going to click to select. I'm still in the Images tab since I just took you there, but you would want to click the Images panel and then click My Assets. Now this is where at the beginning, the Assets tab will flow into so that you don't have to manually upload your headshot every single design. And once you have found your headshot, you can click Replace. Now it looks like that one is also disappearing, so I'll plug it in with the plus sign. And pop that where the old one was. We recommend contacting your broker to find out if you are able to use someone else's listing to make a flyer, whether that's a just listed, for sale, just sold, or open house. We do find that different brokers, different areas, different states have different rules regarding this. You may also need to contact the original listing agent as well to get permission if they would also allow you to do this. Next piece is name. So I'm going to click to select. Now head to the text panel. And again, My Assets to replace my name. Next field. Now this is similar to the house details. You'll see phone, email, and app URL are all in one field. My workaround for this is different than what I would recommend for the house details. Instead, I'm just going to plug in with the first piece of information. So just simply replace. And then you can also move around fields with the directional pad on your keyboard. Next, I'm going to duplicate. So top right corner, the two black squares overlapping is duplicate. And what this does is it keeps the same font and size. So I'll line that up and replace with the second piece of information. And repeat. So again, I'm going to duplicate that field, I'm going to move it around and line it up using the blue guidelines that appear. And then once I have that placed, simply replace with the information from the left-hand panel. And I'm choosing my website instead of my app URL, as I don't have my app URL in my assets. Last but not least, the KW logo. This is my favorite field to replace because once you select, it actually pulls up the logos panel by default, where you can simply replace to plug that in. And then again, you can move the logo around using the directional pad on your keyboard or the white crosshair with the arrows and click and drag. So there is our flyer. We worked it from top to bottom, updating everything. Now, once we have this complete, I do recommend going ahead and file save despite having autosave selected. And then working along these buttons at the top right, the first is order print. Now, this is an option for one-page flyers in Command, as previously mentioned at the very beginning. You'll have 3 steps to order this flyer and have it printed through Command. First, you'll select paper thickness, paper stock, number of copies, continue. Then you'll review your design with all of the bleed marks, double checking all of these criteria, downloading the proof, and agreeing to the terms before continuing, going to the 3rd step to pay. So that's one option on how to print. The second is to download. This will default your file type to PDF for printing, where you can download the PDF and, like I mentioned earlier, print from home, print from your Keller Williams office, save the file to take it to Staples, Office Depot, Office Max, FedEx even, and have them print it. Of course, with all of their paper options, paper thickness, flyer count, what have you. Now, another really cool thing to keep your marketing similar across all media, you can also download this as a JPEG or PNG if you want to share this flyer on social media as well. Finally, once you are done with this flyer, you can click done at the top right. Oh, one more thing I did want to show you is you can share a link to this PDF by clicking share. This will have the design image link at the very bottom that you can right click, copy, and paste into things like texts, emails, smart plans, what have you. To share the project as a whole, which this is the same as this design, it's just one page, you can change the permissions here using this link. And this is what that looks like. So just like you would host it within your Google Drive, Dropbox, things of that nature, Command does, in a sense, host these images as well, these designs. So now that we're done with the flyer, we can click done. And this will take us back to the designs dashboard, where we'll see our design that we just created at the top left of this page. Again, yours may look different depending on how many designs you have created, but you'll see the thumbnail of the design, the type, the title, and if you hover, it'll give you the full title, when you edited it, and some options depending on the design type. Print has rename, make a copy, and delete. So if you wanted to use this as a template, you can come in to make a copy, replace one or more fields on this, and use this as your template. Now, the next piece of print marketing that I want to show you is postcards, aka direct mail. For this, I'm going to head to campaigns, which is the little megaphone icon, to show you a second way on how to create a postcard. Because how you edited this flyer is how you can edit a postcard within the WeBrand Designs editor. So the campaigns is going to be a little bit simpler for you, make it just a little bit faster to get that created and sent off. Once the campaigns dashboard has loaded, we'll click Create Campaign in the very top right. And again, we're choosing direct mail. First, you'll enter your campaign name. Watch the character count as it is a limit of 80. And again, you can input whatever name you would like. I do recommend some sort of naming convention. So I'm going to do the address and the type, direct mail, postcard, just listed. Next, you'll choose your goal. And I'm going to choose advertise listing for this example. And create campaign. Now, because I chose that particular goal, KWLS will pop out from the right-hand side where I'll be able to search for my listing. It will default to search by property address, but you can also search by MLS number and listing agent. Now, instead of pressing enter in this page, you'll click the blue search button. Now, I do also recommend changing the status and the show to all. In my case, this is not my listing, so I have to do that to find it. But in case your listings aren't showing up in only my listings, changing that to all will allow you to find the listing easier. And once you find that, you'll click select. You'll have the wizard on the left and the preview on the right. And you'll just go down each section, making sure each section has a green check mark. So you can edit the campaign name and goal, again, if you wish. You can change the listing if you wish. Now, this content section is where you can either upload a design if you created it in the WeBrand Design Editor, or select from a template within the campaign. You have 4 different templates: compact, default, large, modern, and large contemporary. Now, these names do not correlate with the different sizes in the WeBrand Design Editor at this time. So you'll see compact is a 4x6, which is called standard in the WeBrand Design Editor. Default is 6x9, which is called large in designs. And large here, which is a 6x11, is called jumbo in the designs applet. So I've previously created a compact in previous classes. So I'm going to go default, which is the 6x9 for this example. Then you'll see some information does syndicate because we have chosen the listing. But you can also edit any of this information as you need. You can select the listing status, bedrooms, bathrooms. You can not only manually type in. Oh, so it does look like that you can only use the up and down arrows at this time to increase or decrease bedrooms and bath. And your description syndicates in. Again, you will want to watch that character count, and we see that this is 345 characters too long. So I'm going to delete the information that I did on the flyer so that it matches. Next, coming on down, you'll see the listing photo. You can either upload an image or choose from the listing images. I'm going to choose the front of the house, but you can choose any photo you wish. Now, the little orange exclamation point is notifying you that it is a low resolution photo. So if you would like to upload another image, you can. And nowadays, the low resolution photos can be used on the postcard. So we'll see in the third screen here that there will be a preview where you can see if it's really too grainy to use or not. Next is the agent section. Again, this is pulling from your marketing profile, so if you need to update anything here, you can, but it will syndicate in for you. And then we'll save that section. Here is where you'll see that pop-up about using a low resolution image, and you can either cancel or continue to use. And you'll see the preview on the right start to populate. Next section is Market Center. We're going to click to drop down that section. Again, this is syndicating from your marketing profile, so you shouldn't have to add in a whole lot. Pay attention to the character count for the brokerage name. And at this time, state and zip code do not syndicate in, so you will have to enter those pieces of information. And you'll want to click verify address and let it pull the correct address and confirm in order to have that section get a green check mark. Next section is targeting. Now, by default, it's going to use local targeting, which is the property address. Again, syndicates all in nicely for you. But if you wanted to flip over to target my database, you can, and add contacts individually by tag, so on and so forth. And you must have the address already in their contact profile. But since this is a lead generate class, I'm going to leave it at local targeting and save. Next section is budget. it's going to default you to 200 with the postage class standard, but you can change that if you wish. And you'll notice that depending on the size of postcard you selected at the beginning, you'll see different postage classes here. So for example, the compact, the 4x6, only has one option here, but just one size up at the 6x9 has both options, standard and first class. So once you have those fields to your liking, you can click save. And now that you have all green check marks and the preview, both front and back, so you want to be sure you check out the back as well. Make sure it's all up to date, how you want it to be shown. The last option is to add a QR code to your postcard. You can toggle that on by clicking the toggle next to tracking. And this will automatically create a QR code and pop it on your postcard. So the QR code is meant to collect the lead's information once they scan the postcard. They'll be taken to a page where they can fill in their information, and that page can be selected here. So this is not only landing pages like it looks like, but it's also pages on your website. So if you have a contact us page, or even just leave it on the home page where they can submit their information at the very bottom of the home page, or if you create a specific landing page for this listing, which is what we recommend since all leads that come in from landing pages will be tracked individually. You can select that page and you'll see in the preview, it adds a QR code automatically to your postcard. Now, I do recommend saving as a draft and maybe coming back the following day to review all of this information, make sure it's all spaced out how you want, spelled correctly, punctuation, grammar, all of those things to make sure this is 100% accurate. As once you go to the configure targeting step, you won't be able to get back to this first step. But once you come back in, make sure everything is 100% ready to go and click configure targeting. And yes, this will take you to step 2 to narrow down what homes you want to receive this postcard. So it has a very interactive map, and you'll see the 200 comes in from the previous screen, but you can choose to edit that here again. You can narrow down the property type and details if you wish. For this example, I'm going to leave them all open though, so you can better see the houses on the map. You can also change your postage class here if you wish, and send a copy to your company address, which if you hover over the little I in a circle, will show your address at your brokerage. Now, we do highly recommend doing that so you can see how they turn out when they arrive, maybe keep one for your records, etc. And now, looking at the map, I'm just going to zoom out using the scroll wheel on my mouse, and I can see 189 homes surrounding my listing. It automatically defaults to radius, so it's pulling those homes outward from my listing. But you can also draw and or use the polygon to more accurately define those homes. So let's say I wanted to do polygon like so. It'll then move all of the homes to target and change the number within that shape. And then for polygon, this is so you can have a little bit straighter lines here. So let's say we wanted to do it really, really small. You would just click at the points that you want this to surround, and then connect your shape at the very end so that you can see the listings within that shape. Now I'm going to reset and stick with the radius. Now you can also see, if you hover over individual addresses, a bit of property information and the ability to remove if you wish. Once you have the targeting 100% accurate, you can click next. And this is the screen that shows you a larger preview just right away, but also a larger preview with the red text in the center of the page. That'll open a new tab to download, because I'm in Mozilla Firefox, where you can then open that preview and confirm that that picture is not too low resolution to use. Now for the postcards and postage, you'll see your total here. You'll see some information about same-day processing, distribution, delivery here. And we recommend viewing the terms of service at the very bottom center, reading that, entering your email, card, expiration, and security code to get that started. Make your payment and get those created and mailed out immediately. So that is it for today's class. We covered not only print flyers, but also direct mailers. You can view this recording later this afternoon on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/ScottLeroy and our website, which is scottleroymarketing.com. And if you go directly to slmtraining.com, you can see the recording there as well. If I didn't answer your question, or if you think of a question later, feel free to contact us and we'll be happy to help. As always, thank you for joining and hope you have a wonderful day.